Are you ready for the crossover? To cross over to the world of the growth mindset. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 proven ways to develop a growth mindset so you get to achieve what you want to achieve and more. So what are the 5 proven ways to develop a growth mindset? Well, first off, what is a growth mindset? It really is where you see everything in life as an opportunity to grow and advance. This work really came to the fore by a lady called Carol Dweck, who is a professor at Stanford University, and her field is motivation. But what's really fascinating is if you look at the fixed mindset and the growth mindset as 2 different worlds that you can go into. I think the easiest world to go into is the fixed mindset, which is I am who I am and there's not much I can do about it. I am who I am and I don't want to show any of my weaknesses to the world. I am who I am and I am not good enough the way that I am. I am who I am and I need validation. That is how a lot of people go through the world. And you know what? That's not a great place to be. The growth mindset is where you know that the only reason of life really is to grow and to get better. And I think so many people around the world feel a little bit stuck. They don't feel quite right. They feel that they can't make progress. But what I'm about to share with you is 5 proven things that you could do that could make a massive difference. This is all common sense. But you know what about common sense? It's not always common practice. So the first one is 100% versus 98%. What does this mean? Well, let me ask you, in your life, have you ever made a 100% commitment to something? A time in your life where there was no way you were going to sway away from your decision to do something. Now, what happens is most people don't go all in. And if you make a decision that isn't literally based on, this is exactly what I'm going to do, I've made a decision. In fact, the word decision comes from the French word to décider, which means to cut off. We go, this is exactly what I'm doing. If you don't do that and you leave just a little bit of doubt, this space can widen. Think of it like this, your garden. What's the natural state of a garden? Well, some people might think, well, you know, having lots of flowers and trees and a mown lawn, that's not the natural state. You have to work at that. The natural state of the garden is weeds. And just not going all in opens up the weeds to take over of your decisions so that you get sidetracked. You know, we talk about this a lot on our YouTube videos around how people start things, but they don't finish. If you make a 100% decision to do something, and then with whatever that thing is, my advice is have a floor to that thing and have a ceiling to that thing. Because sometimes we get a little bit overwhelmed and we think, well, it's just too big a thing to do. I haven't got time to exercise, let's say. Well, then just get in the game. The floor is maybe just do 2 minutes or 5 press-ups. The ceiling could be you do it for 20 minutes, you do it for half an hour. Just get in the game because life is a game. The second proven way to develop a growth mindset, and this is so important, is the worse you feel, the more committed you need to be to whatever it is that you're doing. Look, there's something known as the honeymoon period. When you start something, you get up, you keep your gratitude journal, you start exercising, you're doing things that you know are great and you're telling everyone about it. But then comes the fighting season, the fighting part of when you just don't feel like it. Your enthusiasm has just gone out the back door and you give up. But this is the challenge. The worse you feel, the more committed you are to doing what you're doing. Now, this is all very simple, but I promise you, if you do this, your life will transform. And the third proven way is something that became very well known by a lady called Mel Robbins, who's written a book called The 5-Second Rule. These numbers are so powerful because if I said to you right now, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, what do? How many of you go, what are we doing? I remember a TV program when I grew up called Thunderbirds, and it started off with this voice going, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go. And that's what it takes to get something going. There's a part of your brain, it's called the prefrontal cortex. If you count down from 5 to 1, a part of your brain goes, yes. Where are we going? Activation energy. This is what it takes. If you don't do this, what happens is you open up the door again for hesitation, self-doubt. An object which you are in motion stays in motion. We've got to get you in the game. So think about when you could use this. And obviously one of the best times to use this is when you wake up in the morning and the battle begins. You know, the part of you that wants you to stay where you are and the part of you that wants to evolve. What often happens is the part of you that gets you going is when you don't feel you have any alternative. Use this tool. It's so powerful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to get yourself to do what you need to do, but also 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to move away from something that you know that if you did that, that is also going to serve you. A great life, it doesn't happen by like just chance, it's design, and all these things can help you design it. In terms of number 4, this is for me. And I really learned this from Dr. Benjamin Hardy, who's written the amazing book, Willpower Doesn't Work, and some other great books like Personality Isn't Permanent. And I really love what he says, that if you can look at life in terms of what's happened to you and everything that's happened to you, it's happened for me, not to me. Because if you don't look at life that way, we tend to be fixed in our past. And then we wonder why we keep recreating our past. Now, of course, if your past has been extremely traumatic, you might want to work with a counselor or a therapist to help you make sense of what has happened. But in order to move forwards, it's challenging enough. If you keep finding that your past keeps repeating itself, you probably need to be able to look at your past with a fresh pair of eyes. But here's an added bonus for this. For me, also is about moving forwards. It's like everything that happens is fuel for your growth. Everything that happens. It's all about learning to win. It's all about everything is happening for you. And if you have that mindset, that's really the ultimate growth mindset, that you're faced with a challenge or an obstacle, you eat it up like an energy bar. And number 5, which for me is the most important, I thought I'd save the best till last. It's about identity. If you don't know who you actually want to be, then what invariably happens is that you'll just go back to what you know. And I promise you this, what got you here is not going to get you there. There may be elements of it. I would imagine reinvention is really so important for you to be able to shed the skin of who you thought you were, shed the skin of your old habits that don't serve you, and to transform yourself, not into a butterfly, because you can't be a butterfly, but you can be like Gandhi, who said, be the change that you want to be in this world, to identify with that version of yourself. That is why we created the My365 30-day Kickstart Challenge. You can see a link to that in the description below here. That program is really all about helping you identify who you can be and then getting to work over just 30 days of bringing the best you into the world. I want to thank you for watching. Really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you again on another one of our YouTube videos. Goodbye.